it never really stuck with me. It really came to life. Like I was really reminded of it. And back in 20, I was traveling worldwide and concerts across the world. I noticed that every time I was in Africa, it could be the biggest concert at that moment, or the biggest celebration that particular area I've ever seen, but it was always getting interrupted because I could really live in the song and the electricity just goes right out. Like black, white. And we would sometimes wait 5 minutes and it comes back on, sometimes maybe even 30 minutes, or sometimes it never even comes back on. So I was like, okay, something has to be done about this. So the first initial idea was, okay, when we, we're performing like this, let's bring our own generators, let's do this, that, and the other. But then it got bigger than just a concert. I felt like this was almost a sign, because this was beyond a concert. I would be in a hotel watching television, electricity goes out. So I realized just how much of a problem it became the more I spent time in that. And naturally, of course, the kids, the people, this is a normal everyday thing to you. So they've adjusted to the blackouts and so on and so forth. But this is not, because it happens, doesn't mean that it's supposed to happen. And when you realize there could be a better environment for you from a light standpoint, then I start to always ask my question, well, if the rest of the world is so advanced and developed and moving forward, how come Africa hasn't ever been in a position to move forward? But it's clear that because of the lack of electricity, there's a lot of lack of development, because you can't even begin to develop or create an infrastructure without electricity, period. So then my goal was to be a part of the instrument to help develop Africa, where we had to start with the electricity crisis.
So it started just out of pragmatism. You're going to be able to play your concerts, but then it's much broader for 600 million people. So talk a little bit about Akin Lighting Africa. Let's talk about what is it? It's solar energy, but you got to put in infrastructure. Talk a little bit about the program that Akin Lighting Africa. I'm going to ask you about the vision that goes even beyond.
Okay, speaking with Akin Lighting Africa, it's more starts off through catering to the people. Our main concentrated market within Africa is the rural areas, basically all the terrain outside of the city. Because ultimately, the city has enough electricity to be able to operate, but in the rural areas, which is out in the villages, out in the deserts, out in the villages, there's no way they will have, they can't even get no access to electricity. And in order to extend the grid to those areas, it will cost billions of dollars that the government don't even have. And ultimately, the people are the ones that pay the price for it. But we had to come with a solution. One thing we realized was, one thing Africa is blessed with is sun. We can never run the sun. So that became our biggest resource. So why not utilize it? And utilizing the sun, it gave us a better opportunity to attack a solar system and a platform from a solar standpoint, which would electrify the outside areas where the current eventually is working its way inward into the city. But with that, we realized because of the rural areas, the majority of the people in Africa live out in the rural areas, which becomes the heartbeat of Africa. Without the rural areas, Africa doesn't even exist. Because it's the rural areas that infuse the city. So we have to put ourselves in a position of development. We have to start from the beginning. So let's start outward in areas where there's nothing at all and create a small infrastructure from a solar standpoint that will give them a lifestyle and create a small economy, put them in a position to be able to develop those areas slowly and work our way into the city where all eventually disconnect.
So Akin Lighting Africa has been really successful very quickly. You rolled this out February of last year. How many countries are you in now? I know you had a goal of 1 million people in 2014. I know you reached that goal.
Yeah, actually the goal in the beginning was, okay, let's electrify 1 million homes before the end of the year, 2014. But then we realized as we got started, it was really a blessing. And I think because of the lack of electricity, the lack of opportunity for electricity in Africa, when we came on board, it was something that was so necessary that everyone could pretty much jump on. But then knowing the African mentality, we were able to create a structure from a financial structure and a manipulative structure that worked to our benefit. Because in Africa, you got to manipulate. You got to trick it. You have to trick it.
Talk about the financial financial model too, because you're in many, many villages, like 11 countries. I know it's about $75,000 a village, but talk a little bit about how do the finances work and how do you employ Africans? That's a differentiator as well.
Absolutely. So ultimately, we have partners from all parts of the world. We have manufacturers that are out in we do our basic manufacturing. We have partners in Germany. We have partners in Czech Republic, make sure there's some justice out there that's going to actually sustain it and be utilized for the market out for the next, lifespan of the product itself. And then we have partners in England who help with the design of the product, from home systems all the way down to the street lights and so on and so forth. And then we have U.S. partners from a political standpoint who keeps us aligned with all the basic regulations, make sure that because I'm a U.S. citizen doing business abroad, they keep us in line to where we don't get caught up in the politics of that kind of business. So that's the overall scope of how the partnership is actually about. Now, we were able to secure $1 billion loan or we say a credit line of $1 billion to be able to facilitate these type of projects in Africa. So what it did, it gave us
Wait, say that again. How much money?
$1 billion.
$1 billion people.
Yeah. So it gave us the advantage to be able to go into a lot of countries and pretty much start the project immediately without having to go through the World Bank or all these other financial institutions that may take 4 or 5 years to clear finances for it to happen. So the biggest challenge was convincing the governments that we were real and then convincing them to take on the project. Because as you know, in Africa, especially around this time, and the elections coming up and all this, there's a lot of corruption going on in certain countries. There's areas that are still in conflict, we're still trying to get things together. So to get the government to think along in a straight line and as a united front is almost like pulling teeth. So we had to come, and this is where the manipulation piece comes in, because ultimately we knew that the election was on the way. So we would pick countries specifically that's about to go into elections, because we know their agenda is to get back in office. So we would go to each country.
Sounds like the U.S.
Yes. The same thing. It's the same thing.
So we would go into each country and meet with the president, give him the full presentation of what he wants. We know he has to deliver something before the election, so we would say, listen, how about we pick your village or a village of your choice, and we will electrify free. We'll put up our own money, electrify that village, just to give you a sample of what we can do for you, and then from there you can decide whether or not you want to take us home. Naturally, anything for free, Africa's going to say yes. Right? But our biggest, and till this day, we still have to think as African people, the two things that we don't really have is unity, and we don't think about the future. Everything is based on today. So, I hate to say it as an African, but I kind of use that to my advantage to get the contracts. So we sat with the president and said, listen, pick the village. Okay, no problem. I want to use this village. Do this village. Now we're going to pick the village that's the most powerful in his region that will help him from a political standpoint. But not thinking about tomorrow, he failed to calculate that once we electrify this village, the neighboring village is going to want to be electrified. The village in front of it is going to wonder, wait a minute, they got lights, why come we ain't got lights? And this third village is going to say, hold on, man, everybody's lit up, why come we ain't lit up? So it became to a point where once that village was lit up, now the neighboring villages will bring pressure to the government and ask those same questions. How come we're not lit up? We need lights too. So now they think because the president is from that village, well, the president has some kind of agenda towards that village. That's the reason why he chose it. The pressure towards the people now forces him to have to contract us out to do everybody else.
But thinking through that is pretty amazing. So I have to tell you, pretty tenacious. I had the privilege of going in the studio with him one time. I asked him to write a song for me. I was co-founding an organization called No Labels. It was Republicans, Democrats, and Independents all working together. He started at 7 o'clock at night. He goes in the studio. He's singing. He's writing. I get up to go to the ladies' room. He gets mad.
He said, where did you go? What did you, I said, it's on an apple party. He was like, not while I'm creating. Just saying. So we came out at 3 o'clock in the morning and we had a song. This is the kind of tenacity. From 7 at night to 3 in the morning, we have a song. It's still playing at nolabels.org if you check it out. But having said that, you're thinking not only about today and politics, you're thinking about tomorrow, as you said, and economically empowering Africans and Africa. So can you talk about the folks that are working with your company, with Akin Lighting Africa and with the initiative, and what's the rationale there?
Well, the rationale is to empower Africans to be able to cover themselves. At the end of the day, when you look at the world, everyone's speeding from that. The reason why half these cars are moving now is because they're creating, just the society that you guys are living in is being pulled for resources that's coming from Africa. So everyone's pulling. No one's getting back down. And when you look at Africa's population, over 65% of Africa's population is all youth, it's all children, women and children. That fulfills the majority of Africa's population. So ultimately, they are our future. So we don't put them in a position to be able to be, equipped to deal with this big overhead that's coming and prepare them for these challenges. Africa will never develop. So our goal was to, no matter what kind of business we go into, we want to be able to empower Africans, train them to be able to maintain, and also train them to be able to install all the equipment and just allow it to be theirs. But it's all set up around the youth. So ultimately, every project that we go in, we bring technicians in, maybe 2 or 3 technicians that will come in and train the locals. And then the locals now become the supervisors, they become the maintenance men, they become the employees of that product itself. So then you don't have to worry about shipping, 1,000 parts to come in and install all these lights. Because all you need is 5 people that know what this is, get 50 people, train those 50 people, and then you take 10 out of the best 10 people now, ship them to another part of that area to train more people. So then it becomes, it's almost like, teaching them how to fish rather than handling the fish. So now that they have a skill set that they can utilize even outside of this right here, they also have the experience and be able to put something on their resume to say that they were a part of something that can allow them a better opportunities.
Let's talk about affordability and talk a little bit about technology, because I know that solar power and the type of equipment that's being set up is being maintained and sustained by the folks on the ground. So this is like grassroots economic development. But talk a little bit about the affordability, how they pay for it, prepaid, and give us just a little bit of the flavor of that.
So that comes in 2 parts. First, you wonder, okay, because solar is so high, so expensive, how is that possible now? Well, solar is pretty much very, very high only in the United States. See, back in the day, the Chinese had invested billions and billions of dollars in solar technology, mainly for the U.S. market, because they wanted to bring it into the States. Because of political agendas, the U.S. decided, well, that probably wouldn't be good for our citizens because it would create jobs for, China and not much for the U.S. So they put a 200% tax on all solar coming from Asia, which now China was so stuffed, they was literally stuffed with billions and billions of investments for solar. But ultimately, they felt, what are we going to do with all this equipment? What are we going to do with all these factories? What are we going to do with all these panels? They literally sit in China, they can't even use it. So it became Africa's benefit now because we need that stuff. You guys are sitting over there doing nothing with it. We can be utilizing it here. So it kind of made sense. And we caught it right at the trust threshold where they needed something, we needed something, so it benefited us at the end of the day. So we was able to get billions and billions of credit relating to solar that Africa was able to benefit from, which made it very, very cheap and brought the price completely down and we was able to utilize it in Africa. So now when we look at how we service the people, we make the people also responsible. Because one thing about people in general, when they pay for something, they treat it differently. When they get it free, it means nothing. There's no value in it. It's handed to you. And when you take your hard-earned money and you pay for something, you're gonna wash it, you're gonna clean it, you're gonna nurture it, it's yours. Like you feel like you worked for this, so you're not gonna just treat it any kind of way. So electricity was no different. When we saw people walking miles and miles and paying to charge their cell phones. And if you notice, that's the one thing every African has, is a cell phone.
It's the most connected place on the world.
Period. Not more so because it's connected and it's available, but they actually paid for it. So they're gonna guard that thing with their life because that's the brain to the rest of the world. You know, so ultimately we said, okay, let's treat the solar the same way. We don't give it to them for free. We will subsidize with the government, though, so at least the government can pay half the cost to get it going on. But once it's up and running, the overall cost will be paid by the people. So what we did, because we had subsidization from the government, we was able to lower the price all the way down to the same amount in which it would cost to either buy cameras or kerosene on a weekly basis. So they were able to utilize the electricity from the same standpoint and pay the same thing as normal paying for cameras or kerosene. So it was completely affordable.
But much safer.
Much safer. Yes.
So Akin Coca has been incredibly successful. It's only been going 18 months or so, right? So let's talk about the model clearly works. What happens after Akin Lighting Africa? Because clearly we've got electricity, we can electrify the entire continent, but we've got hunger issues, we've got medical infrastructure, we've got, is Akin going to be feeding Africa and healing Africa too?
Well, the whole idea of ALA was so we create a full ecosystem for Africa. Like I told you, our goal is to be a part of the development of Africa as a whole. So you can't begin to start development infrastructure if you got electricity. And that's why we decided to tackle electricity first. But from electricity, stage 2 will be Akin Building Africa, which is the development of roads, bridges, and things that can get you from A to B, train, rail stations, all of this is to come next. And then we want to lead from there into Akin Feeding Africa, which is the agricultural aspect, because we want to be able to utilize our human resources, which is one of the most powerful resources Africa has, and put the people to it. Because one thing, when you look at Africa, it has the most richest soil, it has the hardworkingest people you've ever seen in your life, and you have plenty of sun and plenty of water, really. We just need the proper infrastructure to be able to funnel and filter that water to where we can use it. But by the time we get to Akin Feeding Africa, it will be in a position to where the water's flowing the proper way, the electricity's moving the certain kind of way, and you'll be able to get to A to B to get to that. And then once we have the basic necessity of life done, then we want to go into Akin Healing Africa, which will be building hospitals, which will be creating medical research, medicines, this, that, and other, creating shuttles that can go from left to right, just kind of putting together full, infrastructure for medical supplies and everything else that comes with that. And then last but not least, which shouldn't be the last thing on the list, but I think in the process of all that happening, it will be happening in the process by nature, you can't help it, will be Akin Teaching Africa, which will start to strengthen our educational system. Because one thing I know about Africa is that the kids actually want to go to school. They just don't have the facility, don't have the proper equipment to be able to facilitate their education place the way they would like to. You got kids walking 10 miles to go to school. Whereas here we have everything we want, we'll be skipping it. We try to find ways not to go. Clearly, so once everything is fully set up and you can, literally go to school without being hungry, you can find a way to get there without walking 1,000,000 miles a minute. You can be in school and have electricity light up your, illuminate your books and so on and so forth. Then you can learn in a very comfortable setting and really engage the education actually there. Same thing.
Well, Akin, I'm pretty proud of you. You're a good friend. Aaron, can I have the pen? So Akin didn't think we could do this, but with every friend, you have to share a coat, right? How about we got one that says Akin? And there's also, so this is the commercial side of his business with the social entrepreneurship that we talked about, but there's also a foundation, and it's called Confidence. So willing to take, and I think Akin would be willing to take a couple of questions from the audience. Is that okay? We'll take a couple of questions from the audience. Don't everybody raise your hand at once. There's one right there. Yes, sir. Hold on, let me get this mic for you. This mic on? This one hot? Thank you, John.
What are the chances of those villages that will never receive support from the government? Anything in place or which is planned for those villages that cannot be supported by the government?
Well, that's actually a good question, and we thought about that as well too. This is why we created a public-private partnership for the areas where government can't, facilitate. We'll be able to, secure private funding for those areas. But we pinpointed areas that has to be lit up, and those are areas that certain parts where it may be further out, but it's not, the population isn't as dense as the areas that we make sure that we're focusing on, because ultimately, when you look at a country, it's the government's responsibility, and they have to really, do research and really look into what the people at the end of the day is required to have. So we take all this into account, but we do take into account that certain areas of the government just don't have the funds to do it. So with areas like that, all we can do is just be patient until we can raise the funds to go. But we created the public-private partnership to where we can now seek private funding to assist government to make sure that those little areas that you're mentioning isn't left out.
Other questions? One right here.
Yes, well, my name is Dendonzong Chutezo. I'm president of the African Association of Georgia, the umbrella association for all Africans in Georgia. I know after listening to you, your projects are ambitious and very lofty. And I believe every other African sitting around here is like, oh, this is wonderful. How can I possibly be a part of that? How can I possibly contribute to make such a futuristic project actually happen? That's my question.
Actually happen or be a part? Be a part.
Be a part.
To be a part of it, to help that ambition work.
Absolutely.
How can the other Africans, or any friend of Africa, be a part of that project?
Well, just know that if you get involved now, you benefit more than you would ever know. Because it's no different of when you look at companies like Continental, or you look at companies in banking systems like Chase and Morgan, and so on and so forth. These guys are starting to begin. And as you see now, it's almost like a monopoly because at the time when we started, the need for it was just so fast. So, being in the United States, all you can do is convince Africans in the United States to invest in Africa. You can't do nothing here. You have to be there to actually be a part, if you want to physically be a part. But you can be someone like Lisa, who has connections in all places and tie in dots that can create opportunities for benefits here that actually helps over there and vice versa. So it's just a matter of knowing what you want to be a part of, because anything can be done in Africa at this point. It's a naked continent. It's whatever you want to do and how you want to do it. It's just a matter of connecting yourself with an organization and really doing it, or starting something of your own that can be built to become something that can be big. So it starts with you. You have to want to do it. No one's stopping it. It's available. We're doing it. And it's just a matter of who wants to be a part of it.
I'm Deshawn Jenkins. I actually manage a project at Georgia Tech, which is called Africa Atlanta. And through that project, we're actually developing a women's entrepreneurship program where we're looking to bring over women entrepreneurs from Africa. I'm curious about the role of women in the work that you're doing, number one. And And number two, if you decide to have a university partner, we've got one right across the street. It's a somewhat known dynamic educational institution. We'd love to partner with you.
No, absolutely. I mean, we would love that because ultimately, you know, the education part is the most important part. You know, you can't move without education, no matter what you're doing, how you're doing it, and that's the structure of overall anything. So education plays a huge role. Even when it goes down to training locals, you giving them information that they normally wouldn't have being in Africa. So when you position yourself in a way and such, it actually works to our benefit because we actually have a program where we actually had Microsoft come on board and we put it together. It's like a video telesystem. And it's NYU out of New York City has already signed up. And what we're doing is in those rural areas, through our eco box, it's like a green box that we call it, which is the system where they used to pay their bills or someone. We created a SIM card in there that gives that area Wi-Fi for whatever home system it is. But then within that system, they can log on to NYU during their lecture hours, whether it be for English or whether it be for science or whatever the subject matter would be, and they can tune in and get the same education as the kids actually there. So I see that partnership being done across the street, which could be great, especially from a tech standpoint. I mean, Africa's building very fast, and the technology is building faster than the education is being built into it. So that could be a huge asset for us. And as far as the women play a bigger role than you think. 90% of our organization, company, is all ran by women. And women do a good job. And it's in a man's nature to lead. It's just natural. You know, if you hire a male, it's in his nature to lead. And in Africa, you can only have one leader. If Africa right now decided to take all those countries, turn them into states, and have one president, and become the United States of Africa, we'll be the most powerful nation in the world, and have the highest dollar in the world, because we have all the resources to back it up. But we have to unite it. And it's going to be hard to get to that point because so many interests coming in from different parts. So it makes it hard. But just imagine if that was possible. So to override that position, you put more women in power. Because women think from a different aspect. If you notice all the countries in Africa that's governed by women right now are all women. Because there's no ego, there's no appetite, seriously, like, there's men, this is what we are, we're soldiers, right? We're fighters, we're warriors, and we're breeders. Anything sexy that walk past women, we can't help it. Think about it, right? If you look at all the big schemes and all the biggest profits, we were all brought down by women. It's not by design. Women just have power over us that we can't control. It really is. It really is. So when you look at that, and they harness that power in the right place, if you look at all the biggest corporations, all the big power players are women. Guys, we just there when it's time to fight. That's what it is. You know, so believe me when I tell you, the women play a big role. As far as a lot of stuff that you see that's on the ground, there's women that set that up. I'm just not going to have them out there proposing on the ground. But dealing with the real business and the money, the women have the whole. One more.
My name is Eric Wood. I want to fine-tune the gentleman's question that he asked a while ago about how could we help? Because the vision is big and the impact is going to be tremendous. So how specifically can we help you? I'm not African. I'm certainly a friend of Africa. So with confidence, your foundation, can we give to that? How can we help you accelerate what you're doing? Can we give to your foundation? What are the different avenues that we can directly help contribute to what you do?
Well, as far as the foundation side of things, we partner up with the Lions Foundation, who does all of the foundation parts dealing from the United States and coordinates with the team in Africa for all the social, things that we're doing there. From the Akin Lighting Africa standpoint, that's a for-profit business. So that we're taking in investors, we're bringing in partners, and we're hiring people. So that is, you can go on to akinlightingafrica.com and you can get all the information on as far as to how you want to be a part. And of course, in this room, Lisa can hire you right now. If you want to come out, if you want to get on that plane, you got a job. I'm not trying to take you from Coke because they pay better. I'm just letting you know, it is international, but you want to make a little money.
We'll take one last question right here. Just gonna wait right here. Who's got the mic?
Right here.
Right here? We'll take yours, and you'll be the last one. Okay? The senator's in the house.
My name is Billy Momo of the Consulate of Nigeria.
Welcome.
Thank you. Akon, I want to commend you for all what you're doing. We love you in Nigeria, we love your music, and I'm very glad to be here to see the things you do. The Nigerian Consulate is interested in your PDP arrangements, and we look forward to having an opportunity to make with you, your group, to see what we can do. We have a mandate from back home to seek such partnership for the reconstruction with the embarking as soon as possible with the devastation we went through with the Boko Haram in the northeast. And so I want to let you know that we look forward to collaborating with you, especially if you be part of your programs and see how